You're standing at JFK Airport, passport in hand, after a draining 15-hour flight from Delhi. The immigration officer scans your documents, types something into their system, and suddenly their demeanor changes. "Sir, I'm going to need you to step aside." What just happened? What rule did you unknowingly violate? By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what could go wrong and how to avoid becoming another casualty of America's increasingly strict immigration policies. The year 2025 has ushered in a dramatic transformation in how the United States processes visitors from India. And if you're planning a trip to the US, being unaware isn't just risky, it's potentially disastrous. We're talking about policies so new that even frequent flyers are getting blindsided. Some of these regulations are so contentious, they've triggered diplomatic friction between Washington and New Delhi. But what's truly alarming is this. Out of the 13 updated rules I'm about to reveal, one in particular is so harsh, so rigid, that it's already resulted in thousands of Indian travelers being turned away at the border. And it's likely not the rule you think it is. The first shocker comes in the form of something called the Alien Registration Obligation. Now, before you react to the terminology, understand that this is official US government jargon, and it's about to directly impact millions of Indian nationals. Starting April 11th, 2025, if your stay in the US will exceed 30 days, you are now obligated to submit Form G325R. This isn't just another bureaucratic hurdle. It's the US government constructing a vast and detailed database of all long-term foreign visitors from India. Consider what this means. Whether you're heading to MIT as a student, joining a tech team at Meta, or simply visiting family in Seattle, the US wants a full profile before you even board your plane. They want your career history, your familial ties, your bank details, every detail imaginable. Fail to comply and your visa is nothing more than a useless piece of paper. And that's merely the beginning. The second rule hits even closer to everyday travel. Real ID compliance is now compulsory for domestic travel within the US. Here's where things get especially tricky. If you're an Indian traveler planning to fly from New York to San Francisco, flashing your Indian passport won't be enough anymore. For internal flights, you must carry identification that adheres to federal Real ID protocols. That means millions of Indian tourists who thought their home country driver's licenses or standard ID cards would suffice are in for a rough surprise. The message from US authorities is loud and clear. We don't care what's valid in your country, you follow our standards here. The consequences? Imagine coordinating a multi-state trip, only to find out at your connecting flight in Chicago that you're grounded due to non-compliant ID. If you're finding these facts as jarring as I did while uncovering them, keep watching, because what follows next will challenge every assumption you've had about entering the United States. Let's look at the third change. This one has turned Indian consulates into chaos zones, the DS-164 requirement. From May 1st, 2025, every US visa application originating from India must now include this updated, standardized form. Sounds manageable? Think again. The DS-164 is a grueling 20-page digital gauntlet loaded with highly personal and deeply probing questions. So intrusive, in fact, that many prospective applicants are now reconsidering whether their American aspirations are worth the cost in privacy. This form demands disclosure of your online activity, social media handles, travel records spanning back 15 years, and a complete family dossier including names, addresses, and occupations. And here's the dangerous part. Make one mistake, provide one contradictory detail, and your application may be flagged for intensive review. This delay can easily stretch for months, with no guarantee of approval in the end. But there's more. Rule 4 is specifically targeting a subset of Indian travelers, making their journeys exponentially more complex. Dual nationals are now under unprecedented scrutiny. If you hold Indian citizenship alongside citizenship from another country, perceived to have tense relations with the US, You're basically presumed suspicious until proven otherwise. This development impacts thousands of Indian Americans who've retained Indian citizenship while acquiring another nationality. Indians with Canadian or European Union passports are finding themselves under a microscope. US immigration authorities are treating these individuals with a level of skepticism once reserved for high-risk cases. Some dual nationals report being subjected to interrogation sessions lasting several hours, with officers asking for explanations about every stamp in both of their passports. The fifth rule veers into territory that sounds futuristic but is fast becoming reality. Pre-clearance facilities are being expanded, and India is part of the pilot phase. This means in the not-so-distant future, you may be completing your US immigration and customs clearance before ever leaving Indian soil. While this may eventually streamline your arrival in the US, the immediate impact is increased and intensified screening at Indian airports. Picture this: American border agents stationed in Mumbai or Delhi with full authority to deny your US entry right there and then. The sovereignty implications are significant, and yet, it's moving forward at full speed whether the public likes it or not. Rule 6 hits where it hurts most: your personal devices. Enhanced electronic device inspections are no longer rare, they are the norm. Your phone, laptop, tablet, even smartwatches can be seized and inspected on demand, and it doesn't stop there. Immigration officers are authorized to request your device passwords, scan your apps, read your texts, view your photos, and even duplicate your entire data archive. And here's the part most travelers aren't told. Once your device is accessed, all contents are legally fair game. Your mobile banking details, business emails, private conversations, vacation pictures, and sensitive files, all scrutinized. Some Indian travelers report officers spending hours sifting through WhatsApp conversations, asking for context behind jokes or comments made years ago, sometimes twisting meanings in alarming ways. Now let's address the seventh rule, one that's shrouded in confusion and legal contradiction. Despite state-level legalization of cannabis in parts of the US, federal law remains inflexible, and this is where innocent travelers get trapped. Picture landing in Colorado, a state where cannabis is fully legal. You're staying with friends who legally use marijuana. You're in their home, their car, around their lifestyle. Then, on your way to Texas, a federal checkpoint flags trace amounts of cannabis in your luggage. You're suddenly facing federal charges, even though you never used the substance. This is the paradox. Under federal jurisdiction, possession, even of residues, is considered a crime, regardless of what's legal in individual states. Indian visitors are increasingly becoming collateral damage in this legal tug-of-war. The eighth rule is possibly the harshest of all. Any past visa, overstay, or minor criminal record now triggers automatic secondary screening, often resulting in outright entry denial. But what's especially cruel is that this policy is retroactive and broadly interpreted. That unpaid traffic fine from 2017 in New Jersey, it could be viewed as a criminal red flag. That time you stayed an extra 3 days in the US due to a medical emergency. That's now a visa overstay violation. Immigration systems are becoming highly advanced digital watchdogs. Officers have instant access to data from years back. They can see if you ever worked informally on a tourist visa, or if you left a fine unpaid during your university years. What seemed trivial back then is now capable of causing permanent denial of entry. Rule 9 introduces a layer of airport security that goes beyond metal detectors and pat-downs. The TSA has ramped up behavioral detection initiatives. These aren't your routine airport checks. We're talking about trained behavioral analysis officers watching your every move, scanning for signs of nervousness or inconsistency. Biometric scanners now measure heart rate, and facial expression analysis tools track micro changes in your reactions. Indian travelers have reported facing interrogation-style questioning that resembles police interviews more than airport formalities. Officers throw in casual questions designed to test your truthfulness. Something as simple as, "What's the purpose of your visit?" becomes a psychological test, with every word, blink and breath under scrutiny. Rule 10 addresses a dimension of surveillance many don't expect: social media screening. US immigration authorities now routinely analyze applicants' social media profiles, not just to detect potential threats, but to validate or contradict visa claims. That Instagram story from a job interview during your tourist trip, that tweet criticizing US foreign policy, that meme you shared making fun of American politics, all of it is on the table. Authorities cross-check digital footprints with submitted documentation.